Now on the Locked On Celtics podcast, we're talking trade deadline. We're going to throw out some names. Some you've heard of, some you have not, to see what the Celtics should do.
Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Baby.
Hey, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics. I talk about them every Monday through Friday. I got bonus podcasts for you when they play on a Friday or a Saturday night. So sometimes 6 podcasts a week, sometimes 7. Whatever I need to do to cover the Celtics for you, I'm going to do it right here for free. So make sure you're subscribed, watch the show on YouTube. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis. I'm a beat writer covering the Celtics for Sports Illustrated's Celtics on SI. I've been covering the team for 20 years, doing this podcast for 10, and I've written a couple of books about the team. It is all about the trade deadline. That's all people care about. I was going to make a joke that we're starting off with a super in-depth recap and how the Celtics beat the Milwaukee. Nobody cares. That was not that. That's just no one cares. They won. Yay! What's going to happen on Thursday? That's the only thing anybody cares about, other than meeting Tom Westerholm. Everybody,
what's up?
Someone asked me, you're going to fade out the applause when you play that for Tom, and I want to just say that's the joke. The joke is that the applause or canned applause.
I appreciate that person looking out for the idea that some people might think that was real applause. It's important to keep up. It is real applause, actually. So stop insulting the real people who are watching us by telling them how to applaud.
The applause are fake. The boos are real. The
laughs are real too, though. You see, as natural as it gets.
That is as smooth as an opening as you're going to find. I wish we could do like the old TV bits where it's Locked On Celtics was filmed in front of a live studio audience. They used to say that, and then now they don't say that anymore. I don't know if they need to or whatever. Anyway, this live studio audience wants us to get to the trade deadline. So let's just start with this. I'm okay with them being a little on the quiet side.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's going to go. I think if I had to say they would or would not make a trade, I think they will. I don't think it's going to be the kind of deal, like people are going to make jokes about the deal on Twitter, right? It's going to be a name. It's going to be a minor thing. And people are going to go like, oh, wow, Celtics are champions now. Watch out. Here come the Celtics. So I think and I have a couple of names in mind, a couple of wild card names in mind.
Before you do, though, do you think that people will do that? Because I feel like the Celtics are starting to get enough of a reputation around the league that if they, or at least among fans, right? Like Brad Stevens, Brad does not have the same, like people used to laugh at Danny Ainge, right?
Yeah.
Like, people used to make fun of him for whatever it was, right? Like here comes Danny. Oh, he always says he's going to do something, and then he doesn't.
He almost trade.
Yeah, exactly. People don't talk about Brad that way. I almost feel like if the Celtics make a trade, people are going to pretty quickly talk themselves into, oof, I bet that guy's going to be pretty good. Like,
yeah.
Brad,
So, okay, I want to save my wild card for the end.
Okay.
Because I want to have people, so you can skip ahead, I suppose, to the wild card names because it's all recorded. But I want to kind of like eliminate some of the names. Like, so we're not looking at Ivica Zubac. I don't think he's available anymore. We're not looking at Jaren Jackson. We're not looking at Domantas Sabonis. Like those are the names. So Zubac is not even available, I don't think. Jackson and Sabonis are too expensive.
So instead, we're going to look at Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes, who is an up-and-coming young man in the league who could be a steal. Could be a steal available here, Tom.
I personally would rather have Kelly Olynyk if it were me.
The most expensive name I would consider is Myles Turner. And I say that having just watched him look absolutely awful against the Celtics. But he's in the 20-something million range. The the deal for him and Simons works straight up. So I want to just double check that, because I think it's the type of deal where you can talk yourself into it, but the arguments against, like, somebody's going to make the arguments against it in the comments, and maybe you'll make the arguments against it right now, and I'll just be like, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. There's no like debate. There's no going back. It's like it works as a straight up trade. Yeah. So you can negotiate around that, right? The principles involved can be traded for one another. The skills, just the skills that he has,
yes,
are skills that Boston can use.
Yep.
And he's 29, same age as Jaylen Brown. He's right in the timeline. So I can sit there and be like, well, this works. So yeah, maybe. But there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, but, and I'm gonna like, yeah, also that. And so what do you think of Myles Turner as a potential trade target?
I like the concept of Myles Turner. I like Myles Turner, the player. I think that's one of the names that when you say it and you, like you were just saying, you go through the list of attributes and it's like floor spacing, block shots, like big, I think that there's so much there where it's like, I get why that would be an appealing name at the trade deadline. I also think that there is something to the idea of the cohesion that this team has built, right? I think that and that's such a big add at this current juncture. That changes everything that you've been doing. And listen, I'm not saying that Queta is the future of the Boston Celtics, but this team has built an identity around Queta as the starting center. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm saying all the things that I'm sure somebody would argue in your hypothetical, right?
Absolutely.
I think that we've seen Anfernee Simons be a genuinely helpful player, and we know that he is a genuinely helpful player on this team who does seem to fit. Is he a little underutilized? I don't know. Maybe honestly, this could be a really good role for somebody who is as defensively limited as him. Like, this might be a really good spot for Anfernee Simons. And in that, you also might then get kind of a deal on Anfernee Simons. And that, I think there's something to that too. Obviously, a lot of money on Turner currently, he's an expensive dude. That's why it works for him and Anfernee Simons. But yeah, if it happened, I would be like, okay, all right, good trade. I see it. I hear it. I'm with it. If it doesn't happen, I also, I see it. I hear it. You know what I mean? I honestly,
exactly what this is.
Yeah, it's like
you're like, either way, you're like, okay, sure. And then but, like, get them. Okay, sure. Okay. And if you don't, like, no problem. It's which makes me think like maybe you shouldn't get them. But again, it's
also he would solve so many problems. Like
he would. Speaking of TV shows, if you've ever watched a TV show that's recast the character midstream, like this would be the Celtics using Myles Turner in the Porzingis role. A very Porzingis way. So they would be recasting Porzingis with Myles Turner. And everybody who watches the show, it's happened a few times where you're watching a show and you're like, this guy this person is playing this character now. You couldn't come to an agreement. And he's like, okay, all right. That new character has to be damn good. To be that person now. There's the Fresh Prince recast moms in the middle of it. You go back to old school I Dream of Jeannie recast Darren. A couple of there's a couple of Darren. There's like these little spots in the middle of it. So this would be the new Porzingis, and he better be damn good at this role if he's going to be what Porzingis was at his best when he was available.
I do love that going to get Turner would solve precisely zero of the rebounding issues.
Well, and that's the thing. That's to be the other thing. Like, and that would be the argument against in a big way. By the way,
but again, it makes your Porzingis comparison
sure
chef's kiss, right?
By the way, I did tell everybody that mailbags, I do mailbags here on the podcast every once in a while. I'm also going to start doing them on SI. I do have one posted on the Celtics on SI page right now. If anybody has asked one of these questions about the trades, a lot of big man question trades, this podcast will answer a bunch of them organically. But if you go to the Celtics on SI page, I have answered all of the recent big man trade questions there. So if you submitted one, go there. So, okay, Myles Turner, I answered this one there too, and it basically said the same thing. I'm not moved by it either way. So that tells me, especially because he's expensive. Yeah. Let's get into some of maybe the mid names, the mid tier names, also mid players.
Yeah,
probably
mid excitement level. Yeah,
mid excitement level. And then we'll do the wild cards. We'll do wild cards on the Thursday. We'll do all that stuff coming up. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Super Bowl is here. Super Bowl Sunday is this Sunday. Oh, man. And it's the Patriots and it's the Seahawks and it's one final Sunday of football. And FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. So whether you're backing the favorites, whether you're backing the underdog, everybody should be backing the Patriots, or you're building one last same game parlay. I understand there's some haters out there. Don't worry about it. This is the game everybody's been waiting for. This is where the predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's a perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. If you're a new customer, you bet just $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So go make it count. Go to FanDuel.com, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. When you sign up, they're going to ask you to set a limit, set a budget. Please do that. Whatever you can afford to lose, your disposable income, that's what you should set it at. If you go cold, they'll help you. They just stop, and then you pick it up again later. So check it out at FanDuel.com. Go there to get started. Today's show is also brought to you by Indeed. Hiring is not about finding somebody who is willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. If you want candidates to match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move, because instead of hoping the right person just stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certifications, location. If I were hiring, which I've done in the past, I wouldn't want just someone who can help. I want someone with real experience who can jump in. And trust me, there's a pile of resumes that you're just going to have to sift through otherwise. And that stinks. You can get specific and target exactly what you need. It saves time because you're spending less time and energy sorting through mismatches. And with sponsored jobs, your post gets seen by candidates who actually fit. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed just now, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job premium status, help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. You're an everydayer. You want to join the Everydayers Club? Well, now that the trade deadline is right around the corner, you can join. We got a little deal for you. If you want a group chat that keeps up with the chaos, join ours. The Everydayer Club gets you group chat on Discord just for Celtics fans, plus national chats. You can hang out with fans from across the league. You could add free versions of the show. And if you sign up before the trade deadline on Thursday, you can use the code DEADLINE to get your first month free. Tap the link in the show notes or go to Locked On Celtics, lockedonceltics.supercast.com, lockedonceltics.supercast.com. All right, let's get back into the middle of the road guys that may be out there. And when I say middle of the road, I'm talking about, I don't know, Yusuf Nurkić. Is there a world where a Nurk kind of tickles your fancy, Tom. He's in that he's in an expiring contract. He's in the mid-teen range. He's in Utah. He's getting triple doubles.
Yeah.
What do you can you talk yourself into a Jusuf Nurkić type?
Oh yeah. I think you can definitely talk yourself into him. I think that if Jusuf Nurkić came to Boston, it would not take long to like the quality of he is a high quality player, right? Like not a star, never a star, right? That's not at all what I'm saying.
No, right.
But he is a very quality player, and I think you would see that quality, especially on the offensive end, very quickly. And it would. there's a late Rick and Morty reference where Rick tells Morty he's going to be 22% nicer to him. You will feel the difference, and that's like how I feel about Jusuf Nurkić. It's like you will feel the difference. It's significant, right? Yeah. And I do think that you could. I mean, kind of similar to Turner in that way, I think, right? Where it's like you will feel the difference. But I don't know how much. I think again, I can kind of take it or leave it with Nurkić. I really could. Like,
right.
I really like Anfernee Simons as a player. I've said this before. As I get older, I appreciate the aesthetic of the game so much more. Where I'm just like, wow, you can do that with still like that's amazing. Yeah. I used to be able to do cool things on a basketball court. Like, so I really like Anfernee Simons and I like having him around and all that stuff. But I mean, I do think, can you talk yourself into Nurkić for sure? But I think I err more on the side of inertia and the fact that the Celtics are 31-18, right?
Yeah.
Like I err more on the side of just keeping that going.
I agree with you. I think just to calm the people down who might have swerved off the road when I said Jusuf Nurkić, I think the point I'm making here is that I would just rather keep Anfernee Simons.
I would rather
in a lot of these situations. Yeah. And I'm mentioning these names because these are the types of players that are out there, and nothing like this. None of these are moving the needle for me. Now with Nurk, it's $19 million. It's expiring, but you're trading for his bird rights. And what you end up getting is a guy that you can sign for whatever he's actually worth. And it's not $19 million.
He's not getting that much again.
No, right. But you can sign him for 10. And that is, you don't have to use an exception to do it. That's if you're saying to like, if you're in the front office and you say, we need to remake the kind of just the balance of our team, and we're going to trade a wing for a big, and this is how we have to do it, then I get it. And I would look at Jusuf Nurkić less as trading for him and more as a trade disguised as or a free agent signing disguised as a trade, because you're trading for him in order to sign him. But that's not the mid-level, or not the mid-level, but the mid-tier guy that I'm looking for. I want to speak this into existence. This is the one guy I want to speak into existence at this level, and it's Santi Aldama. I don't know why I fixated on him. Because he's a big that can shoot. He's not the biggest dude in the world. He's not a great rebounder. He doesn't do a lot of the things that I think people would be looking for in that spot. But I'm looking at him as more of a stretch that maybe you can develop. In a lot of these deals, I'm looking at the Celtics are good at developing centers.
Yeah.
And a little bit of time with Joe Mazzulla, toughen you right up, get that pit bull out of you. He'll have you chewing nails, in no time.
Or like Santi Aldama, am I right?
Oh, where's the boo? Timing was off.
I've seen what makes you cheer. Sorry.
Okay. Any interest? I don't even know if he's available. I might. I don't know. I'm trying to speak it into existence. What do you think?
I like it as a play for when Tatum comes back too, right? I think
that's
when
you see what I'm doing. I'm kind of trying to like rekindle the Porzingis thing. I'm trying to get that like that stretch big type of guy because I know that works. That's kind of where I'm going.
Yep. Yeah. I can see that. I like that one as a, that you got a guy coming back who's going to gobble up a lot of rebounds. You know what I mean? You got a guy coming back who's big and can do a lot of stuff, and you've got guards who can block shots, right? Like you have a lot of stuff on this team that can benefit from what Santi Aldama does, and that can cover up the things that he doesn't do. So, and there's a lot of stuff that he can do. So no, I mean, I don't hate that one. I think that's a good one. I don't, again, like all these guys, he's not a guy that I'm like, gotta go do that. Like I'm not losing my mind over it, but like, if that is who the Celtics pick up at the deadline, I think that'd be a pretty good piece of business.
Yeah. I've seen,
I know that you're also not saying
right. I'm just trying to throw things out there to see the Aldama, and I'll throw Naz Reid into this mix.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Minnesota is trying hard to get Giannis. And if the Celtics can get involved, can you get Naz Reid if Minnesota is really trying that hard? If John Morant, which he's probably not moving at this point, but if something happens and John Morant moves and you need a third team, can Santi Aldama be thrown in there? Can you get one of the – that is the kind of – I've just been looking at where can the Celtics get involved in a multi-team deal, and can they snag one of these guys? Unlikely is, I think, the answer. But Brad Stevens, that whole front office – they are very good at doing things that I don't think are possible. And so that's kind of where my mind is there.
Can I admit that I just looked it up and I had no idea Santi Aldama was 7 feet tall. Like I had no clue that he was that tall, but okay. All right. Fair enough.
There you go. All right. I got two names, and the best part about these two names is you can get them. I think one for sure, maybe both.
Giannis and Thanasis?
Yes. Tom, I'm teasing this next segment. No, two guys without trading Anfernee Simons. So you get two guys, two potential trade possibilities.
Okay.
Without trading Anfernee Simons. Who could that be? I'll tell you when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by TurboTax, because it's not just trade deadline season, it's tax season, and it does not have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours and hours and hours trying to figure out your forms, you can just meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms, and they work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, you go about your day, you open up the TurboTax app, and you can track the progress and get updates. It's a huge time saver, and it gives you real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your table, off your plate, and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics the number one Celtics podcast on the number one sports podcasting network. That's Locked On. I want to invite you to check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night. I normally am hosting on Wednesdays, but the Celtics play the Mavs on Tuesday, Cooper Flag. So I will not be hosting this week, but I'll be back next week. But Game Night covers every game in the association 7 days a week. Locked On NBA has a ton of trade talk, all the big stories, all the big storylines. That's 5 days a week, both on the same feed. Okay, Tom Westerholm, I got two names for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Both of them make about $8 million. So there's a way to get them You give up nothing, or let's just go with the names. Number 1, Goga Bitadze. Orlando Magic makes $8.3 million. Big dude. He's 27. He fits. It's not the most ideal guy in the world, but he is big beefy dude that is working on developing a 3-point shot.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, I would say he's about the same as Keita. Doesn't play exactly the same, but about the same. So you're committing to big, strong dude, not a stretch big. He's just going to set the picks and do all that stuff. But you can get him, and you can in this scenario, Tom, Sam Hauser for Goga Bitadze. Orlando needs shooting. Celtics get a big. Tatum's coming back. So now you get Tatum back. Anfernee Simons in this scenario sticks around, re-signs $15 million a year. That's my go-to scenario. Mid-level money, which, by the way, people can, I probably didn't say it the right way. Mid-level equivalent money. You don't have to use the mid-level exception to sign him. You just have his bird right. So you give him the equivalent of the mid-level exception. So 15.1 whatever million dollars. So you have to give up a shooter, but you have Anfernee Simons sticking around, and you now have a front court that's decent, still not the best. It does not fit my Porzingis scenario at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't love that one. I wouldn't do that one. I would rather have Hauser. I would rather have the shooting. I would rather have the explodability of Hauser, right? Where he can come in and for 2-3 straight games in a playoff series, he could just give you 12 points in a minute and a half, and all of a sudden the game is different. I would just rather have that guy. I'm also a little damaged from having seen what the Celtics have done to Bitadze in the past, right? Where they've just really, and look, that's not very fair because the Celtics aren't going to face Jayson Tatum because they get to have Jayson Tatum. So that's not entirely fair, but that's where I come down on that one. I would rather have Hauser.
Okay. Then I'll go to the other one. Zeke Nnaji from Denver, who Denver is just going to straight up salary dump. They don't want him anymore. He's 6'10". He plays more of a 4 than a 5. He's switchable, but he's not like the strongest guy in the world, but he's switchable. He's not the best shooter in the world, but he, 35% career. But he's really struggled lately. If you can get that back, there's this to me actually makes the most sense because you can get him for Josh Minot. You know what I mean? Like you're not giving up anything. It's a reclamation project for sure, but the Celtics have done well with their reclamation projects, and he is a big. You're not playing Josh Minot anymore. Now Nnaji he makes $8 million. Let me just double check this. Almost 8.2. And then next year, 7.5, and then a player option for 7.5 a year later. So he doesn't make a ton of money. So I think this feels like a very Brad Stevens move.
It does to some extent. I guess my only question is how concerned are you that you're just acquiring a slightly different Xavier Tillman in that?
I understand that. And maybe that's, well, I guess my response would be when you got Xavier Tillman, there was like promise there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It hasn't worked out. And I think that's mostly the knee.
Yeah.
And so I'm at this price. So $8 million coming in, 2+ moving out. So really you're adding $6 million. So you're not going over the second apron.
No, for sure.
And that's fine. He doesn't have to perform right away because he's taking the spot of a guy who wasn't playing.
Yep.
You can work them in. You can try him in practice and shoot arounds and all that stuff. You can get him up to speed. He's played at the NBA level for a little while. He's done okay. I don't see a downside. To be honest with you, I just don't see the downside because he's taking a guy who doesn't play. I'm not trading Hauser. I'm not trading Pritchard. I'm not trading it's just you're taking a spot and maybe you don't trade Minot for him. I think they would want Minot. They're trying to get under the tax. And Minot can step in and hey, maybe he can get in there and do a little what Zeke has done and whatever. I'm not making the best case. This is not a game changer, right? This is not a game-changing trade. But if you're taking swings, if you're the Celtics who like to, they've done well so far with these reclamation guys.
Yeah,
I don't see the problem because what happened if it doesn't work next year's trade deadline? You attach a second round pick to him, and somebody else says, "Well, we'll give it a shot." I think that's where it goes.
I could see that. I don't have a problem with the Zeke Nnaji one. I think the thing that I'm not willing to for neither, I'm not willing to give up a rotation player for either of those guys, right? Yeah. I'm not willing to give up a Hauser for a Bitadze, obviously.
Which is fine.
If it's a Josh Minot for a Zeke Nnaji, I have no problem with take a swing. Why not? Why not? You're not give Minot a chance somewhere else. I don't know what he did to just be let him go. Let him go try to have an NBA career somewhere else if you're not going to use him. You've got all these young guys who are showing some real promise. Let him play somewhere else. He didn't do anything to have to rot on a bench somewhere. And why not?
Why not Minot?
Why not Nnaji? Why? I don't have anything for that one. It's not my favorite of the potential trades, mostly because I don't think it'll move the needle much. But I have no problem with it by any means.
I think the one that people might be latching on to is the Yves Missi from New Orleans. I think that's I don't know what his salary situation is, but that's where are we here? Why can't I find it here anywhere? That's great. This is great podcasting right at the end. I don't know where he is. Anyway, that's a name that's come up. Oh, here he is. 3.3 million. I don't understand why would they trade him? That's the thing about him. I don't know why they would trade him. He seems to be doing okay, but New Orleans makes bad decisions. So
they've been known to make one or two.
I think where we're landing is we like kind of where this is at. And the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation is kind of thrown such a wrench into everything. Everybody's kind of like, whoa, wait a second. We don't want to be caught with our pants down here. If we could have gotten involved for a Giannis deal and gotten something out of this, you don't want to be the team that makes a trade and is like, oh, we could have gotten something better.
Yeah,
because of this Giannis thing. So I think a lot of teams are just kind of sitting it out. So, but that's why I go to the Zeke Nnaji thing, because it's just doesn't mean anything. No disrespect to Josh Minot, but end of bench guys. I don't even know if I would go Jordan Walsh for Zeke Nnaji. You know what I mean?
See, that's the thing. That actually is my cutoff. I would not do Jordan Walsh. I would do Josh Minot.
That's right. That's
absolutely
right. Josh Minot, Xavier Tillman, Chris Boucher, any of those guys, that is fine with me. Jordan Walsh is actually useful. I think Jordan should probably stick around. But if he does get traded in the right deal, it's not the end of the world. But so I think where we've landed is we like Anfernee Simons. I would rather keep him. I'd rather have him re-sign here. And
the listeners of Locked On Celtics will be shocked to hear that I think Anfernee Simons is pretty good.
Well, I don't know. I would love to hear people's opinions. There are a lot of other names that are out there, but these are the big ones that I didn't mention. Maybe a Bobby Portis in Milwaukee. But these are all, I think we're all in the same place with all these guys. Fine. It's fine. I'm not giving up Anfernee Simons for those guys, but maybe I'm more willing to trade Sam Hauser in the right deal. I don't think Bitadze is the right deal for Sam Hauser, but that's what it would take. Portis for Sam Hauser. I mean, Sam Hauser gets to go home. He would probably love that. Thanks, Boston. Yeah. Thanks for the championship, but I get to go home to Wisconsin. That would be, I'm sure he would love that.
Yeah.
And Bobby Portis, I think, would work, and people would love. People hate him right now, probably.
Yeah, Boston would end up loving that.
They would love Bobby Portis.
Yeah,
it's taken like 2 games for Bobby Portis to come in, and people go, "Oh yeah, I get it now."
The Bobby would hit pretty hard,
and quick, and quick. Yeah. So, but I
think the bigger thing with this, right, is it's just if the Celtics don't do anything, that's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine. Like there's not this team. I don't think that this team is probably going to win a championship, but I do think that they're good. And I do know that they've got one heck of a player coming back. Yeah. And if you take a look at this team and you're like, I want to see what this team looks like when that heck of a player does come back, I think that is very defensible. I have no problem with that. And if you think that you can sign Anfernee Simons for a decent deal next year, I have no problem playing for that. I think it is a very valid option to go through this trade deadline and just let it go. I don't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Celtics anything big would happen this summer if there is anything big to happen. And I don't know that there is. I don't know if there is, but we'll see. All right, Tom, that'll do it. You're dismissed. Right.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Tom Westerholm, you find his work. Celtics work is on boston.com. My work is on Celtics on SI, so go check that out. Again, I've got a bunch of stuff. I got the Q&A. If you've submitted questions recently for the Q&A, which I'll go to johnkaralis.com/mailbag. It's johnkaralis.com/mailbag to submit your questions. I'm doing them on both now. So because Sports Illustrated is free, you can go there and get you see your answers to your questions. So check that out. If there's about 5 trade question and answer there. So go check that out. I want to thank you for being here, being an everydayer, joining me every Monday through Friday, bonus podcast on the weekend. If you want to join the Everydayer Club, it's lockedonceltics.supercast.com, $5 a month, $50 for the year. So you get a couple months free that way. You want a free month, you use the code deadline before Thursday, sign up, you get that free month, access to our Discord server, audio, ad-free audio, all that and more. So go check that out. Now I would love it if you shared the podcast and tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.